Today on Zested Foods, I'm going to tell you all the things that you need to know about asparagus. Let's get started. My name is Christine, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing so together we can strengthen our families one meal at a time. Have you ever asked yourself, what is asparagus? Where does it come from? And why should I be eating it? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you are in the right place. Asparagus, also known as Asparagus officinalis, comes from the lily family. This plant is a perennial, which means at the end of the season, it's not pulled out like tomatoes and cucumbers. It comes back every year. Farmers don't plant seeds, they plant crowns, and those crowns come from the root clusters from the berries of the asparagus plant. That's right, asparagus grows fruit. At the end of the season, the asparagus plant grows what's called frond. And then at the end of the late season, the frond produces a berry, which is a green pea-sized berry. Then towards the end of the fall, these berries turn a bright red. Are these berries edible? No, they are actually poisonous to humans. So don't ever eat the fruit from the asparagus. Asparagus has a short window of harvesting, about 8 weeks in the spring. We have access to it all year long because it's grown throughout the world. The largest producers of asparagus are China, Peru, and Mexico. Growing asparagus does require patience and space. Each plant takes several square feet, and it takes between 3 and 4 years to grow edible spears once it's planted. The lengthy wait and the short season of this vegetable makes it a luxury. That's why you find it so expensive at the grocery store. But fortunately, patience pays off because this vegetable plant can last up to 15, 20 plus years as long as you maintain it. But once this plant starts growing, it can grow up to 6 inches per day. That's mind-blowing. Asparagus will vary from season to season and depending on the variety, but asparagus has a very earthy flavor similar to broccoli or a very intense green bean. Asparagus comes in 3 different colors: green, purple, and white. The white and the purple varieties are a little bit more mild than the green, but all varieties pick up the flavors of the foods that they're cooked in. The fun thing about white asparagus is it grows under the ground. It never sees the sun, therefore it never photosynthesizes and it stays white. Before we continue, I just want to tell you one thing. When you're cooking with any food, you want to make sure that you taste it and see what the flavors are of it before you continue cooking so you can adjust the seasonings, or if the fruit or the vegetable is too sweet, you can adjust and go from there. Also, I have learned that eating asparagus in its raw form is actually quite delicious, and you should try it out. The thickness of the asparagus does not indicate the tenderness. The tenderness comes from how the plant is grown and how quickly you are to eat it after it's been harvested. So how do you know how to buy asparagus? Buy asparagus as soon as you can after it's harvested. You're going to want to buy spears that are nice and smooth, have a nice closed tight head, and the ends are freshly cut. Asparagus is sold in the bundle by the pound, and each bundle roughly has between 12 and 15 spears, which can serve between 2 and 4 people. Or roughly cut up, it's about 3 cups. Don't buy asparagus that looks like it's going limp. So how do you store asparagus? You store it very similar to some fresh cut flowers. So what you want to do is cut off about 1/2 inch. Then take the asparagus and place it upright in 1 inch of water. Another way you can store your asparagus is by placing a damp paper towel around the bottom of it, and then placing it upright in a plastic bag and then sticking this inside your fridge. When storing your asparagus, you want to make sure you keep the rubber bands around the bundles to help keeping them upright. Have you ever wondered why asparagus makes your pee smell funny? Well, hang on. Researchers have found that during digestion, your body digests asparagusic acid, which is only found in asparagus, and it breaks it down into sulfur-containing compounds. And because those components are volatile, which means airborne. It means that as soon as your pea comes out, it wafts up and you can smell it as soon as 15 minutes after you've eaten asparagus.
Wafting. Oh, everyone likes their own brand, don't they? This is magic. All right, analysis. Oh, it smells like carrots and throw up.
But only 1/4 of the population can actually smell this foul smell. So if you're one of those people who can smell asparagus pea, make sure you hit that like button. But don't let the scent of asparagus pea throw you off. It's actually a very healthy vegetable for you to eat. It's actually an excellent source of fiber, cholesterol-free, and it's low in calories and fat. Among the micronutrients found in this vegetable, it's very high in vitamin K and B9, which is folate. There are other health benefits to eating asparagus. It can aid in lowering your blood pressure, help with digestion, it can help with your eyes, and even your hair. Another benefit is it can be used as an anti-aging property as well as an aphrodisiac. You'll also get a good portion of your daily recommended vitamins of A, C, and E, as well as phosphorus, potassium, and protein in a single serving. Now you have everything you need to know about asparagus, except, well, how to cook it. But before I show you how to cook it, if you're liking this new episode and you want to see a certain ingredient that I go in and dissect and teach you all about, let me know what you want me to do next in the comments below. Before cooking your asparagus, you're going to want to remove this bottom part because it tends to be a little bit more fibrous and woody and not as pleasant to eat. So what you can do is put your hand about halfway up the spear, and then it has a natural breaking point where if you break the asparagus, it knows exactly where to break. So then what you can do, instead of breaking each one individually, you can line up the asparagus and cut them off all at the same point. You can eat the asparagus now just like this, or some people even prefer to peel off the top layer of the asparagus. It just makes it a little bit easier to eat. And if you want, then you can take these shavings, you can save them and add them to a stock. You can blanch them and puree them and add them to a soup. There's a lot of ways that you can cook asparagus. You can boil it, steam it, saute it, can it, deep fry it, the list goes on. But most importantly, do not overcook your asparagus. If the stalks become soggy or mushy, that means you've overcooked it. Make sure to not overcook them, otherwise this delicate stalk will become bitter and the mouthfeel is not pleasant. One of my favorite ways to eat asparagus is to roast it in the oven with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. Roasting it in the oven enhances the flavor and it brings out the sweetness of the vegetable. You're gonna roast it at 450 degrees for 10 minutes. Then pull it out of the oven and add some fresh grated Parmesan cheese, which goes very well with asparagus. Put it all over the top and put it back in the oven for another minute or 2. If you'd like this recipe for the roasted asparagus, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Also, if you want some more food ideas that pair well with asparagus, I've created a PDF that you can find on my website, which you can also find in the link in the description below. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode and learned a thing or two about asparagus. So now go out, buy some asparagus, cook it up, and enjoy it while it's in season. If you need some more ideas on what you can make as a side dish for your family, make sure you check out this playlist right over here, and we will see you guys in the next video.